We'll get to more of this in spot on, spot off. What was your reaction to hearing Bowman was going to be out with a concussion?
My reaction was not surprised. And I say that, Jason, because I was beside of his spotter, longtime friend of mine, Kevin Hamlin, and we were having some conversations around Alex's demeanor after the wreck over the radio. And I literally, when the red flag came out that day, I watched him get out of the car to see how he physically was looking. This opens up a major concern for me because this driver hit the wall. And he made the comment over the radio, that's the hardest I've ever hit the wall. And his demeanor over the radio had his spotter concerned for his safety. No concussion was ruled because he did not have to go to the infield care center because he continued on, yet he continued to race. I think we just saw with the Tua incident with the Miami Dolphins that back-to-back concussions in a short amount of time can really mess you up, right? So I don't know that there is a solution to this. I don't have anybody to blame for this, but Alex's safety was certainly in jeopardy for the rest of the Kansas race. It was in jeopardy when he got into the World of Outlaw car, and that's probably when he realized, something's not right. I don't know that. I've texted back and forth with him, but it was just to wish him well. It wasn't to ask questions or pry. But I would imagine when he got in that World of Outlaw car, something wasn't right mechanically with him, and that's when he raised the flag of, man, I probably need to be seen. And obviously it was determined that he had a concussion and he did not need to race at Talladega. And all I'm going to say about that is thank God, because there ain't a more dangerous place in the world to drive a race car than Talladega Superspeedway. But, man, how do we evaluate a guy that we didn't think needed to be evaluated? But the signs were there, right? But as a spotter, we don't know what to do in that situation. I don't know whether to text, Justin Haley's girlfriend Libby or his mom or him or Chris Wright. I don't know what to do. If I'm in the situation, I don't know what to do. But this is scary that a hit that, as everybody said on TV, didn't look bad, was bad. And it's very obvious. Kevin Hamlin we had a prominent figure in our sport. I would call him a prominent figure in our sport that came out of the elevator shaft while we were all sitting in the lobby at Michigan. TJ, were you in there for this? And he advised us that if we see our driver
yes,
with a rear impact about to happen, what did he ask us to do, TJ?
Lean your head back.
Tell your driver to lean their head back, because we were coming on the heels of Kurt Busch backing his car in at Pocono, obviously suffering a very bad concussion. Here we are months later, and he's still not back. So if you see your driver backing it in, tell him to lean his head back. Well, that tells you where the brunt of the force is going in those kinds of wrecks. Do we have time to do that? Sometimes. Do they have time to listen to that and react to that? Oh, that's tough. But at the end of the day, Kevin Hamlin did an amazing job. He radioed him and said, lean your head back. And we saw how violent that in-car camera was with Alex Bowman. Obviously, concussions are when your brain bounces off of your skull. This has created a lot of concern. There was already concern off of Kurt's deal, and I would say concern was at a 6. After Bowman happened, Freddie, I'd say these guys are at about a 10.10.
And the thing that concerns me is a lot of these guys, they're competitors, right? I mean, we see this in all forms of sports. We see this everywhere. Credit to Alex for actually coming forward and saying he's got an issue, because I know for a fact there's guys out there that feel probably similar to Alex or have had issues, and they're not going to say anything because they don't want to get out of the car. They're
a driver's biggest fear is someone else driving their race car.
Yeah. And it's like if you're gonna, like, this is like a, please, if you have an issue, you feel, because the problem is if you have one concussion, the next one's gonna happen way easier, and then down the line, and it's only gonna get worse. I'm sure Dale can tell you that
the next one's easier.
Well, I'm just saying, but like it seems like it happens. It seems like it happens.
But there's scientific proof after you've had 3, you're in trouble.
But I mean, I definitely think, like with the football deal, 2 in a short time, that's not good.
Oh, that's what I'm saying. Like if you have a big crash somewhere, like, and if you feel anything, like, don't get back in the car, or at least get checked out. Make sure you're good. It's just
This is just a race.
I mean,
this is
there's
a sport.
Yeah, like
you know what I mean. Your safety and your health come first.
your well-being. Yeah, your well-being from years in the future. I mean, you could Timmy Salamito was a kid that I helped out, like a young kid that was running modifieds and stuff, and he had a big wreck at the Atlantic City Gamblers Classic in a TQ midget, and literally broke his helmet on the wall and had a bad concussion. And then I was like, you need to take a year off. You should not be back in a race car because I'm okay, but I still feel a little bit. I'm like, if you feel anything, stop getting in a race car. And then he went out and crashed again and got another concussion, I don't know, 6 months later or so. But
I'll give huge props to NASCAR for everything that they put in place to measure, to baseline these guys' brains and to monitor it. But now we're to the point where they're getting concussions in wrecks that they can continue on the race, and I don't know what you do.
Yeah, what's
scary.
the protocol? Do you bring them down pit road? You can't stop the race to give them a concussion protocol test. I don't know.
And there's so many more factors too. Obviously, not as important as somebody's health, but the teams. When it comes to sponsors, when it comes to a driver that may be on a lower budget team that gets paid per race that needs that salary. I mean, there's so many factors.
Tons of factors.
I'd imagine that driver has a lot to think about and before he decides to make a call.
Kurt's situation, he was sidelined by NASCAR.
Yep.
Make no mistake about it. He was parked. Hey, buddy, you can't race. Alex's situation, big hats off to him for saying, hey, something's wrong, because he was the only one that knew that in that car. And of all the places we go to race, this is going to sound crazy. Of all the places we go to race, Talladega is the easiest to drive for a driver. Elliot told me a million times, Brett, your grandmother could get in that car and qualify it just as fast as I can. You get in there, you hold it wide open, and you run around the bottom for a lap. Your grandma could do that. Obviously, the strategy of drafting completely changes that. It's a game of chess at 200 miles an hour. But in terms of actually driving the car on your body, it's the easiest place to go. It's obviously... it is one of the most dangerous places to go as well because of the wreck factor. But Alex could have easily said, man, I'm going to push through right here. It's my team. It's my sponsor. It's Rick Hendrick. I'm in the playoffs. I've got all this pressure in the world on me. He deserves a freaking award for manning up and doing what's best for him.
Yeah.
I have there have been times in my life when I wanted to choke the guy for doing immature things. This was a long time ago. I've seen him grow up. I've seen him make better decisions. This is hands down an amazing, mature decision by Alex Bowman.
So what happens next now as far as concussion protocols? He'll go through various tests before he can get cleared for Charlotte.
They've got a couple tests that they do. I had the names written down in my phone that Tom Bryant with NASCAR gave me, and I couldn't pronounce any of them. I had to Google how to pronounce them, but they got a couple tests they do. One is very thorough at the beginning of the year, and the other one is one they do after accidents. So, again, we're speaking to the baseline stuff and the neurologists. They've got 3 neurologists they work with. I just hope he's okay, man. I don't know, when he can come back. Obviously, it's probably got to be now. He's got to be released by NASCAR and by his own personal doctor. And look, man, the Roval ain't an easy one to come back at. We talk about easy to drive at Talladega. The Roval's not easy to drive.
No, not at all.
You're slamming on brakes. You're turning left. You're turning right. It's quite a challenge, I would imagine.
Yeah, the places where we see the concussions seems to be where they back in.
Oh yeah, that's always. Yeah.
So, it's going to be hard to. I think. I mean, it just seems like mile and a half stuff really is where the dangerous part is. I mean, you can still wreck hard at Martinsville and stuff, but I think as far as carrying all that corner speed and backing in and stuff like that, I think what do we have left?
Speaking of corner speed and hitting hard, how about Corey LaJoie yesterday?
Oh, scared the heck out of me.
Do you know what happened?
Yeah, I heard. That's. I don't want to
What?
say, but is
Do you
that
share?
when I heard? I was like,
It wasn't a blown tire.
It was. I look. So the
I thought he
angle
cut a
of
right
the wreck,
front.
I thought he
That's
blew
what
a
I
right
thought.
front.
That's what on the broadcast. That's what it sounded like.
And that was not the case.
no.
He had a major malfunction inside of the cockpit. Major malfunction.
And it wasn't anything to do with the driver.
No, nothing to do with the driver.
Corey. Yeah.
No, he didn't fall asleep at the wheel, ladies and gentlemen.
You ever drive a little Tykes car when you turn the wheel and the wheels don't turn?
Yep.
That's kind of what happened to Corey yesterday.
I know you want to sell your home. Do it with our friends at OfferPad. Go get a cash offer right now at OfferPad.com.